Have you ever wanted to put homebrew games on the Super Nintendo Classic Edition and the NES Classic Edition? Well, today we're going to learn how. First thing you need is a system, and then you need to go to this video here, mod your system, and come right back. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is go to Hakchi 2, and we're going to open up the program so that we can start installing some of our homebrew games. So the first thing you're going to do is come up to this drop-down menu and choose the system that you will be using today. I am using the Super Nintendo, so we're going to use the Super NES. Now, I'm going to show you I've got some ROMs already downloaded onto my computer. Here's the folder now with the homebrews. But the first thing we need to do before we do any of that is we need to go on to Hakchi 2, go to the Modules drop-down menu, and we're going to go to KMFD's Module Hub. Once this is open, we're going to go to the top tab that says KMFD Cores, open that up, and this is where you're going to find the cores. These are the emulators that you're going to use in order to play your ROMs. So we're going to need some NES ones, you may need some Super Nintendo ones, or Game Boy, whichever one you're doing, you will need to download it. So what I've done is I've downloaded everything for the systems that I needed, which was the Super Nintendo as well as the Nintendo. So I will give you an example. We'll click on, say, a Game Boy one that maybe I don't have installed right at the moment, and that way I can show you what you need to do. So click on the one you want. It'll show you the details here, and then go to download module. Do not do download and install module. You're going to install it separately. So go to download module, close this down, and now you go up to your modules drop down menu again, and this is where you're going to do install extra modules. So click on that, and it'll bring up this menu, which has all of your modules as well as some of the features that Hakchi does for you. But you're going to click on whichever modules you have, or you could click on any core, honestly, that you have in there, because it's just going to work regardless. So once you click OK, it's going to install that. And now we are going to put games onto the system. So go to your folder that has all of your ROMs, and this is where we're going to choose some games. So I'm going to choose Mischief Castle, drag and drop. Oh, we got an error here. So apparently this one is probably not going to work because it's not supported, but we'll try it anyways. So go ahead and click on yes. Now this is onto Hakchi. So you'll see up at the new apps, you'll see Mischief Castle. Right click it, go down to select emulation core, and this is where you're going to select the emulator that you're going to use. Now this seems to be the biggest thing that you need to do when you're installing games, especially homebrew. You'll have to go in here and you'll have to pick one of the cores and then click apply. Once you've clicked apply, you can close it, and it is installed onto Hakchi and onto this game. So scroll down into your NES section, or wherever your game is for. Mine is for Super Nintendo, so that's where I'm going to go. And here's Mischief Castle. We are going to Google image for the box art, which is pretty cool. We've got this one right here, which looks great. So we're going to double click on this, and it's going to create your box art. So now once you've done that, we're going to go down and add, well actually, so I've already added micromages. This is the one that I was testing out to try to get things to work before I did anything else. So here's micromages here. I haven't done any of the box art or anything, so go ahead and Google it. And we're going to double click on that one because it looks fantastic. Once that's all done, we're going to either export to USB, which is what I normally do, but for the video, I'm going to do synchronize selected games with Mini. This is just going straight directly to the system. It's the one that will be a lot faster than exporting to USB. Alright, so click on synchronize selected games with Mini, and it's going to bring up this menu. It's going to ask if you've already flashed your kernel. I click no every time, otherwise I get errors, and then go ahead and click yes. And you're going to now have to plug in your system. So with nothing plugged into the system, you're going to push the power button on, hold reset, and then plug in the micro USB cable. Then you should hear this noise. it will start installing. This is a long process, so I've sped it way up not to bore the crap out of you. Now that that's done, you're just going to click OK right here, and it's going to take you to this, which is very, very important. You cannot have too many items in your folders. So what I do is I split by console. That's going to separate the games into whichever console you have on here. Now, if you have a ton of games on your system or on your USB, you're going to need to separate them by letters or split equally. So that would be a separate thing. But just for adding 1 or 2 games, you can go ahead and split by console and then go ahead and click OK. So now it is off to the TV on the Super Nintendo Classic. And there we are, both games are on the system. We got Mischief Castle and Micro Mages. So first let's check out Micro Mages and see how this works. And there we are, it's beautiful, it looks great. Playing smoothly. I'm going to show you a little bit of the gameplay on this because I've watched a lot of previews on this, and this is an awesome looking game. I love the fact that you're this tiny little sprite of a wizard, a mage to be exact, and you just go in this up-scrolling kind of adventure platformer, just shooting all kinds of little tiny sprites. It's very, very fun gameplay. You can play up to 4 players, which is also very cool. So I suggest going and supporting the developers of this game if you like this game. But we are going to go off and we're going to check out the other game, which was Mischief Castle. Before we do that, I just want to show that you can do save files for all of the games that you add on, even if they're homebrews. So let's go off to Mischief Castle and check this out. And it doesn't look like it's going to work. So with this, it is a lot of trial and error. You have to go through all of the cores until you find one that works. Sometimes you have to decompress or you have to compress the files because they are .NES, but sometimes they are zips, so they will be .NES YZ. So we'll go back to Mischief Castle and we're going to switch it and see if we can get it to work on a different emulator. So right now I've got it on the Nestopia, but we can try, let's see, the Quick NES, see if we can get this one to work. So go ahead and hit apply and then close out this window. But before we do that, I'm going to add a couple more just to see if I can get those ones to work. First, I'm actually going to go down and take a look at the Micro Mages because the emulation core on this one could have been different than the one I chose for Mischief Castle. Nope, it's Nestopia. So this one worked with Nestopia, but Mischief Castle did not work with Nestopia. But we do have to remember that it did give us a warning saying that it was not supported, so I'm probably not going to get that one to work just because of that error. But we'll add another one in here. We'll add Dataman. I'm going to right-click this one. You can see it's got decompress, so I could decompress if I wanted to see if that would work. But we're going to try this one with Nestopia as well, since we could get Micro Mages to work. So maybe we can get Dataman to work with Nestopia. Let's go ahead and find the game. It'll be under NES. Dataman, right there. So let's Google the box art. There's a couple things coming up. You can see the box art there, but it's not the actual image. So I don't see it coming up here. We may have to go into Google. Let me open up my browser and let's just go ahead and search for it. Alright, so on Google here, we're going to type in Dataman NES. Let's go to images. And there it is. First one right on the left. It looks good. You can right click and save image, or you can go right to the website. We're going to the website. It looks like this is the official website for the game. And we're going to right click, save image as, and go ahead. Now let's go back to Hack-Chi 2, and we can now go to the browse option to find that box art. Find the folder. I've got a couple other ones in there from another project, but we'll upload that. And now we've got our box art. And now we'll go ahead and synchronize with the system. Let's put those games on there. Go ahead and hit no again. And now hit yes, because we want to flash the custom kernel. So go ahead, hit power, hold reset, plug in the USB cable, and you'll hear this noise. This will take a few minutes. I've got it sped up just so it doesn't bore you again. Once that's done, we're going to set up the folders again. So just remember that we're going to sort it by console. So split by console, and then go ahead and hit OK. That's going to download all of the stuff onto your system. Go ahead and click on OK. And we can now go back over to the TV and check it out on the system. Here we are. We now have Dataman, Micro Mages, and Mischief Castle. Let's try Mischief Castle and see if we can get this to work finally. And it still doesn't work, so we're going to have to check that out after. Let's go into Dataman and see if we were able to get this one going. And for some reason it still doesn't work. I'm going to have to do some more research on this and see if I can figure out why some of these games don't work whatsoever. Must be doing something wrong. So I downloaded some other ones. We'll go to add more games. I've got Micro Mages Second Quest. This is part 2. So we're going to download this and put the box art on, as well as selecting the emulation core. So we may have to try with Dataman decompressing it, or maybe it's supposed to be compressed. I'm not sure. But with this one, we are going to make sure it's on FCEUMM. This one I read seems to be the best one that works on most. So you can see here it's 7Z, which is the zip file. So this is not compressed, it's uncompressed. And the .NES is the decompressed version. So we're just going to leave it how it is, and we're going to apply. Hopefully this one works, because Dataman and Mischief Castle just don't seem to be working. Alright, so hit close, and then you can go back to the game here and see that we have Micro Mages Second Quest. We're going to Google some box art image. Nice. There's the box art there, so we're just going to take this one. Looks good. Now let's go and add one more game. We got Mad Wizard. I've never played this one, so I'm excited to try it out. So we're going to go up to the top. Here it is under New Apps. Again, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to Google the box art first. Look at that. What is that? That looks awesome. I'm excited to try this out. So let's select the emulator core. And we are going to use FCEUMM again, because again, we've read that it works the best. Close that down, and let's add these games to the system itself. So go to Synchronize Selected Games. And this time I am actually just going to skip over this part. We already know how it works. So here we are back on the system. Let's check and see what happened. There they are. We've got the Mad Wizard and Micro Mages Second Quest. Alright, we're going to try Second Quest because I'm super excited on these games. Here it is. Looks just like the first one. Everything is running smoothly. And there it is. It's just like the first one, just new levels. We've got some new enemies. Again, such a great game. Make sure you download this one if you are adding homebrews to your SNES or your NES Classic Edition. Alright, let's close this one down and go over to the Mad Wizard, try out this game. Here it is, the Mad Wizard. Look at that dog with a hat. Alright, we're landing. I'm a blue wizard. This button levitates. Alright, let's go up and get that glowing cube thing. It looks like all you can do is levitate. right, Prism Cube. What is up in A? Alright. Let's go check out what's through here. You can shoot, so that's good. Alright, levitate. Oh, what the heck was that? There's a face in that bush shooting stuff. The evil bush. Alright, let's levitate. And up in A creates a glowing square. Okay. Oh, we can use this. We can get across some ledges. Or not. I don't know. Anyways, this is... Okay, yeah. There we go. This is what we need to do. We're getting a scroll. Levitation Y plus 1. Maybe one more square I can levitate across. Alright, so in the end, this game works. We've got a couple that do work and a couple that don't work. It's a lot of trial and error. So when you are using emulations for homebrews, you just need to test out which cores work best for it. If you need to decompress or you need to have them compressed. Either way, I think there are some games that just do not work. So it's just trying different games, trying different ROMs, trying different emulators until you can get these to work. But the key is to select those cores, because if you don't select the cores, it is unassigned and it will not work. If you have any recommendations on how to fix those ROMs like Dataman and Mischief Castle, please let me know in the comments down below. If you've got some suggestions on which games I should try out that are homebrews, please let me know. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and as always, subscribe. Thanks. Bye.